Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on January 26, 2025 at approximately 9 p.m. PST. Now, I've made it my life's purpose to remind people that working together we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. Now, I bill myself as a spiritual guide because the tools I offer are the exact same tools I personally use in my day-to-day life. And the philosophies of life I talk about are the same philosophies I guide virtually every movement I make by. With this in mind, I know these tools will work for you because they continue to work for me and have literally worked for thousands of other people with varying degrees of success, depending on their own personal efforts. Now, before we get into this, we got to run through a couple of things. But today, we are going to be looking at, as a matter of fact, this whole next week, we are literally going to be laying out a battle plan for you to attain success in your life. Today, we're covering purpose. But before we get into it, big hats off to Storm in the background. He is our primary moderator that makes certain that the tech continues handling properly, and any problem children, because we get them now and again, but Storm is the one that makes sure that they end up outside the room where we can't hear them. Now the thing is, when Storm pops them out, they're still able to listen. Okay, but we've had people come in here in the past, as most streams do, where they cause a problem, and I think that's all they want and all they desire. Now, sometimes there are a couple of people that come in here that, because through no functional fault of their own, run into hiccups. And we do our best to make allowances for that. But here's the thing. Sometimes it just gets to be a problem. And before anybody jumps on it, no, Storm is not a bully. Storm is simply doing exactly what I asked him to do, making certain I don't have another heart attack due to stress. Now, then we have LA in the room, and she quite often keeps the conversation going nicely because I do literally feed off of the chat line. Okay, she also keeps an eye on my health, and to that end, LA, I only just finished supper, I don't know, about a half an hour before stream. Okay, I've probably eaten too much today, but I'll worry about that later. But I do have coffee, water, so we're good to go. And just in case we have a problem, we've got our salt. And no, rest assured, this little white powder, don't go sticking it in your nose. It is going to hurt. Now, we have Simon the Likeable is in with the gold. How you doing, Simon? Glad to see you back. Hopefully things are going well for you. Now, Simon is in with the gold. Operation Shutdown, you are in with the silver. And as Operation puts it, the journey continues today on January 26, 2025. Only today we're going to jumpstart your success for you. Okay, and here's how we do it. The first thing we look at is purpose. So here's a couple of questions to ask yourself right off the bat. Do you desire to become successful in your eyes? That's the first question you got to ask. Okay. If the answer is yes, and I'm betting dollars to donuts, and in all fairness, that's a really bad buy because you're looking at $2 to $3 a donut. Okay. Nothing like inflation. But I'm betting dollars to donuts. You're tired of fighting behind the eight ball, striving to get ahead. So we're going to paint a path that works. Okay, regardless of whether you're working with only a couple of dollars to work with, or you're working with thousands of dollars to work with, it doesn't matter. Okay, money doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't care what you look like. It doesn't care who you pray to or who you sleep with. Okay, but the first thing you look at, ask yourself, look in the mirror and ask the one in the mirror, do you desire to be successful in your eyes? Okay, now, given that the answer to that is yes, And we have Rachel Andrews in with the bronze. How you doing, Rachel? If the answer is yes, you do desire to be successful, then we go to tool number 1. Okay, I've shown this to you before. If you don't have this on your fridge already, I am worth it. These are the 4 most powerful words in combination in any language I've come across, be it written or spoken, or for that matter, energetic. Having trouble pointing it back. Now, personally, I have that sign obviously right there. I've got the same sign on the wall right above my monitor here. I've got one on my fridge up front, and I've got one on the front door. And yes, I've had people that have literally stopped at my door, at my apartment door. Why? At my apartment door to bring my attention to that sign. And what are we looking at here? Let's scroll that down, make sure I got it all. Yeah, we're sitting good. Now, the nice part about it is once you decide, yes, you desire to be successful for you. Now, there are lots of people that will tell you, don't get into the music industry. Don't try and become a songwriter. Don't follow your dream of writing. Do not follow your dream of art because you cannot make money at it. Now, I'm not entirely certain if you guys have heard of such people like Celine Dion or Johnny Cash, or maybe you didn't even hear about Elvis Presley. Okay, these people got into music. And I don't know, but I think what they ended up mounting was successful. It was successful for them. Okay. Now, that would be first and foremost. So decide, number 1, do you desire to be successful? Now, who are you aiming at being successful for? That is the next question. Okay. And let's just make sure we do this right. Yes, I've got my list for taking notes, and there's a big reason for that in this case. Now, that's the first question we look at. Okay, now, of course, we're going to have to figure out, and I'll show you how, as we go through this stream, I will show you exactly how to identify this. Now, here's the kicker. At the top of the chat room, you will find a link to buy me a coffee. It literally says buymeacoffee.com/inner voice J. Use that link. You can get to all the books I've written and my consulting access, the access to my consulting, and or if you're just aiming at, and this is appreciated, rest assured, just supporting what we're doing. Because like you, I've been fighting tooth and nail to survive. Okay, I've been doing things stupid in a lot of ways. Okay, but I'm not going to blame anybody else for that. So the first question you ask on that note, or more to the point, question number 2. Who do you desire to be successful for? Okay, are you desirous of being successful for your kids? Maybe you desire to be successful because other people tell you can't be. Whatever motivation, write it down. But I will tell you, in my experience, and we are talking decades of consulting experience, the most successful people are aiming at being successful for them. Now, something you got to realize, okay, running a household is like running a business. But the best way to describe an entrepreneur is somebody willing to work 16 hours a day for themselves so they don't have to work 8 hours a day for somebody else. Now, the tools we're talking about will lay all of this out for you. So, who are you aiming at being successful for? Okay, that would be question number 2. Okay, now, the thing is, If you're aiming at being successful for your kids, it's great to leave something behind for them. But I got an even more bizarre idea. As you become more successful, help your kids or friends or relatives, whoever you're aiming at helping, while you're still alive, to watch them grow, to watch their success come into a positive balance. Because I'll tell you, it is so much more rewarding seeing your child or seeing your charge become successful while you're here to celebrate with them. You know, there were a lot of mistakes that were made when I was growing up. Okay, that really came down to the fact I didn't understand this neat little idea of you've got to be successful for you. You do that, it'll spread out over all the people you connect with. You'll carry yourself more upright. You'll be happier, more relaxed, more energetic. You get the picture. Okay, so you got to decide who you're going to be successful for before you go any further down the road. And absolutely, you really do. One of the things you got to identify is who you're aiming for. Now, and we're going to cover all of the necessary ones. Now, why do you desire to be successful? I should get these listed in the order I desire them in. So question number 3 is, why do you desire to be successful? Are you aiming at being successful so you don't have to follow anybody else's rules? If that is the idea, bad news, you're going to run and be very disappointed, because as long as you're in this civilization, you have to answer to somebody else's rules. That's just the way that is. And again, I refer you back to the list of karmic laws at the top of the stream. Be true to yourself first. Do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. And energy out, energy in. By following those karmic laws, you are almost certain to land on your feet. So, what are you aiming for? Okay, for me, I'm aiming at success so that I don't have to worry from one day to the next. And I can simply relax and live life and hopefully start enjoying it. Okay, but that's in here. That is not a question of making certain everybody else is happy with how I'm doing it. Okay, so ask yourself, why are you aiming at success? And for that matter, while you're at it, you might as well ask why you feel you're not successful yet. Now, there's all kinds of things we're going to cover over the next little while. Because what I have discovered is people don't know how to move forward, is what it seems to be the problem. So, why are you aiming for success? What is missing in your life? As in, why is it that you're looking at what you've got and you're going, and maybe you're telling yourself, and I did this morning, I failed at everything. Everything in my life I failed at. So what is wrong with this picture? Why am I aiming to change this? Well, because I don't like what I'm looking at. This is my motivation. Okay. Net result, I took a look at positive perceptions and went, okay, how do I go about doing this? And while I'm at it, why not let you guys learn by example? Okay, I'm not about to lie to you to make you feel better. And I'm not one of these people that is going to sit here and go, everybody struggles. Frankly, I don't know about you, but the fact everybody else out there is struggling doesn't really make me feel that much better. It's like, great. So I'm struggling just like everybody else. I'm still an individual. Why are you aiming at changing your life? That's the first thing you have to actually, one of the first things. Like I said, that's question number 3. Now, this is where it starts to get a little bit more complicated. Question number 4. This is the most complicated one of all of them, I do believe. Well, second most complicated question. But the fourth question you ask, what is success in your eyes? So I'm just going to put that out to you guys. What do you guys see as an indicator that you are successful? And no, there's not going to be a test at the end of this. The test is in your own life. I know for me, it's a real simple issue. Success means I've got enough money in the bank that I can pay my bills as they arrive and just get them cleared and out of the way. To me, bills paid, roof over my head, food in my house, I'm having a good day. Okay, this is what I consider successful. If my health is holding and I've got the rest, rest assured, if your stress level's up, you're going to have a problem with your health. And this is not a doomsayer thing. This is simply a reality check. Okay, if you are not successful, if your stress level is too high, you're going to have health problems. Now, what is success in your eyes? Is it a question of having the newest model of phone? Okay, I do believe mine is still running on, I think my IO is still running on 7. But the reality of it is it works for me. I don't have to be overly up to date. Simon goes, I'd say a happy home and a healthy, positive outlook. Now, let me ask you this, Simon, and I appreciate the input, but let me ask you this. In your eyes, what constitutes a happy home? Okay, I know there are ways of making it happy, not the least of which, if you've got no other music, find a toddler's laugh track. Okay, and I mean just the little guys in diapers. Little guys and gals that are sitting there just laughing. This will change the mood. If you got nothing better to work with, absolutely use it. Okay, now, LA, you are way too correct on that. LA is going, most people look at the material as success driven, and the spiritual and societal issues are ignored. Now, and then Simon's come back on being a good parent and having a peaceful existence. I absolutely agree with you. And therein lies part of the question that we will be dealing with as we go along. Right now, we're dealing with success, just straightforward. Okay, now I am not perfect. I am simply drawing on literally 50 years of consulting experience and well over 100,000 clients. Whoa. Yeah, well over 100,000 clients. Okay, so, so the reality of it is this. Okay, when we look at being successful, it really depends on your idea. Now, for me, having all the clutter out of the way so I can walk through the house in the dark without hurting myself is excellent. Okay, operation, the next 5 days. Okay, well, 4 days. 4 days? Yeah, our next 4 days. By the end of those 4 days, we will have for you a complete template, and I suggest you take notes because this will get you on track and it will enable you to get where you're aiming for. So you really have to take a look at, and this really boils down to what in your life are you not content with? Because the trick is not to know what it's going to look like. Oh, fantastic, Simon. Simon's just sharing here. My success list is already happening. And that is the key right there. When we talk about removing the clutter to free up the energy flow, this is how success comes about at a faster pace. And the more successful you are, the more content you are, the more it's going to affect the people around you. Okay, net result, society in little bits and pieces and little pockets is going to start having a solid impact. Now, so when we take a look at what is success to you, is success simply a full fridge? Full fridge and freezer. If that is your definition of success, that is success. It's that simple. Okay, you don't have to complicate this. And yet so many people strive to. I had to tell somebody today that I'm tired of explaining what I see as success because they're not getting it. Storm, that is a fantastic idea. And since I haven't finished tying it off, let's just make a note of that. Get my coffee out of the way. I'm actually working on tying off a lot of it tonight. So, where do we go here? Just making a note because this will end up being dealt with tonight, quite frankly. There's more happening with these next 4 days, but the nice little part of it, okay, and again, guys, that newsletter that we're talking about is accessible for free. I only send it to people that ask for it. Okay, I don't print off a whole pile of copies and lay them all over the place. Okay, but if you go to the link at the top, to the Buy Me a Coffee link, you'll find the link to ask for the free newsletter. It's called Positive Perspectives because there is no way I am putting much in the way of bad news there. I think, and I'm paraphrasing, but the bad news section says, essentially, bad news happens around the world. Go look at any other periodical or news service that you can find. You can pretty much find something to get depressed about. And Simon, I don't know. I know that you were in here. Did you make notes? I hope you did, regarding how to quit drinking. And so you can do so with a whole lot less stress and a whole lot more success. Now, we are going, finances is one of those funny little things that we're going to cover. And I don't deal with the idea of, oh, well, take $10,000 and invest it here. Not a kick, not a problem there. We just don't do that. Okay. Yeah, and LA's just reminding you, we don't sell the email addresses to anybody. Now, here's a neat little thing about that little email list. I gotta go around here because I can't reach from over there. This is my email list because I'm an old school. Go ahead with a computer, try and hack that. These are card files. Okay. Whoop. That's actually the wrong box. But it's another box like that. I just grabbed the wrong one. They are card files. This is where I write people's email. Okay. This particular one is not the box I should have grabbed. This one is. Now, I'm very much old school. Okay. Because that's where you'll find all the email addresses I work with. It's a little tedious to get it out. I'm a dinosaur. Okay. I am currently, giving you an idea on that one, reminding myself, well, more to the point, My other half is looking at teaching me how this works. That's an abacus, one of the best calculators. Doesn't require power. Now, once you have figured out what you consider is success, okay, that is a paramount concern. What do you see as success? Not is anybody else going to like it. Oh, where do we go here? Yeah, Simon's just saying, I didn't take notes, but I kicked it. You know, it was kind of like flicking a switch. And in all honesty, it really is. You know, what do we got here? Now, the nice part about it is success is literally an arm's reach away. Okay, literally. Once you have, once you have decided what you see as success, understand it is far easier to decide what you're not content with than what you are content with. Far easier to decide because you're really gambling. Well, in 10 years, I think I'd like to have this. How about if we do this? Now, I'd like this to happen. Okay, it's like I've shown you before. You can think, you can wish, you can have all the positive affirmations that you desire. Okay, this pen, if all you're doing is praying for it to change, I don't care who you pray to. Okay, I don't care who your partner is. Doesn't matter what religion you follow, what political belief you follow. Doesn't matter. You're going to get off your tail feathers, or this pen is not going where you like. If you desire a pen to move, you're going to make it move. In case you hadn't noticed, you're actually the one putting your shoes on in the morning. But decide what is success. Okay, to you. Not what does everybody else see as success. Because I'll tell you, as a very wealthy young man told me one day, he goes, he says, I've been miserable rich and I've been miserable poor. Hands down, I would rather be miserable rich. And I'm grumpy a lot of the time, let's face it. One of the most common things people ask me is like, how are you doing today? Well, I'm annoyed with the world. Most of the time I am. This hasn't stopped me from doing this. So what is success to you? What is going to get you excited to get up in the morning? Okay, aside from the requirement to go to the washroom. Okay, what is it that draws you out of bed? Okay, one of the biggest things that you gotta look at, yep, Simon goes, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, or so I'm told. And honestly, been there, done that. It is essentially correct. And the neat part is, on top of what I'm working on right now, I should probably get my tail off the chair to do this. These little booklets, as the booklet, you're looking at $20 in your pocket Canadian. Okay, virtually anywhere in the world. That's believe in yourself and follow your dreams. Then you've got this neat little one. Believe in your finances and follow your dreams. And believe in your business and follow your dreams. Understand, a business, running your house, is a business. All of these are $20 Canadian in your hand almost anywhere in the world. If, however, you would like it quicker than that, for only $10 Canadian through the link above, you can actually get these in PDF form. Okay, they're already available. Thanks so much to Storm for making that happen. So, now that you've got the question number 4 dealt with, what is success? Do you have any clue what you feel is successful? Here's a hint. If there's anything that is not running smoothly in your house, okay, I gotta do this. This is one of those things about the way I look at it. Okay, here's a success thought for you without my throwing things across the room. Uh-oh. LA goes, one of my doggos just put his nose on my bare foot, stepped back and laughed at me. That's pretty good for someone who isn't paying rent. Yeah, no doubt. Now, I'm looking at this, and a lot of my life has been twisted out of shape. So, this, I know it's just a small thing, but I didn't like the fact it was crooked. Now, I could have sat there and stared at it and gone, oh, I don't like that. I pray it changes position. I don't think that was going to work all that well. Okay. But now, because that's my satchel I head out the door with. Okay. So now, it's now the way I desire it to be. Success boils down to identifying what you are not content with, modifying that energy. Okay. And start making it happen. Now, we've already discussed what is success. And of course, you're going to have to piece this together for yourself. Okay. Hopefully, when we come back tomorrow, we have that neat little idea. Some of you will come back with ideas of what you see as success in your life, not what other people might think is successful. Okay, maybe success to you is simply getting a perm. Maybe that's all that you require for you to feel a little better about you. Closest thing I ever got to getting a perm was I accidentally stuck my finger in the light socket. This was not enjoyable, but it did curl my hair. Now, once you got the what sorted out, now we're going to go with question number 5. Where do you begin? Okay. And where you begin is quite literally, that's question number 5. Quite literally, where you begin is right where you are at this split second. You can wait until tomorrow. You can wait until a week down the road. Success begins now. Okay, and even if you wait a week, by the time you get there, success still starts now. Okay, that's when it begins. And it begins not by prayer, not by affirmation, although those will both help you focus. Okay, it happens when you put the effort in. You desire to be successful. You're the one getting up to make it happen. Absolutely. If you've got questions, or more to the point, when you've got questions, come right out and ask. Okay, because that is the reality of where we're standing. It is time to make your lives change. But you'll notice I said it's time for you to make your life change. I will not do it for you. I made that mistake. And every time I did that, it backfired. They did not become successful. I became frustrated because they didn't. The reality is, you're doing it for you. Okay. I absolutely will do what I can to push you along, or to encourage you to move along. But where you start is right where you are, right this moment, which answers question number 6. When do you start? Okay. So, say 5 and 6 get answered at pretty much the same time. Where? Right now. Right where you are. When? Right now. Now, here's a way of looking at this. In order for you to be successful, you got to do it. And frankly, if not you, then who? And if you come up with a better idea that can make you successful with somebody else doing it, let me know if that works. I've yet to find that one works at all. But if not you, who? If not now, when? And I will warn you, let's say you want to put it off for a week. When you get there, you're still doing it right now. The only thing that procrastination is going to do for you is delay your success. It's that simple. And you'll note, yes, I use that term, I use that term simple way too frequently in some ways. But it really is that simple. There's an old African proverb. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Okay. Where are we here? I think it was LA. Yeah, and of course I scan up, I can't find it. Did I miss somebody here? Nope. Okay. But the reality of it is, and I forget who marked it off, and that's okay. But a journey of 1,000 miles does begin with one step. In all fairness, it begins with getting your tail feathers off the chair. But if you can walk with your feet on the floor, and if you can walk while you're sitting down, that's some phenomenal muscle control. Okay. Yeah, LA goes, I learned a few months ago, get out of the way of other people's karma. Tell them what worked for you and let them do it. Otherwise, they learn nothing. It's like if we turn back to certain teachings. You give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. You teach a man to fish, you feed him for life. My goal is to take this platform and go, here's how to do it. And while I'm explaining it to you, okay, I'm implementing it myself. Okay, this is not a question of do what I tell you. This is the question of here's how I deal with things. Blue Cruz, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Okay, so when we're looking at where and when, right here, right now, that's how it starts. Okay, the difficult part is that issue of maybe you've been struggling all your life. Lord knows I have. Okay, you make that breakthrough, you're not likely to do it correctly the first time. But just like breaking a bad habit, and this is where we take our hats go off to those of you that are breaking habits. And where are we here? And this is like for instance for you, Simon, hats off. I know from practical experience that breaking a habit, in my case, it was alcohol and drugs. And the last one I just broke was eating out way too often. Okay. But for those of you that are, absolutely. But let me ask you, Simon's going, it's frustrating too that they may not actually want change, but prefer to stay in the rut because it's easier. This is the big thing. People say change is difficult. You're told from the time you're a kid. Shade Viking, how are you doing? Glad you could join us. Absolutely, I appreciate you popping in. This is going to be posted, and I do look forward to you looking at it afterwards. Do sleep well, though. Lord knows we can all use that. When we are looking at this whole idea, the first thing you got to do is make it happen. Okay, who is responsible for it? Well, guess what? That would be your department. But these changes we're talking about, I'm currently implementing. Okay, which is why, as Storm has suggested, he goes, can we do a synopsis in the February edition? We are going to do that. Okay, you start right here, right now. Okay, and again, this neat little method here, this list, works like an absolute charm. Okay, I didn't get a lot done today because I was gaming. It's my game day. So that's the way that works. But by doing that, everything you're doing can be altered. But the key is Look at what you're not content with. Do not worry about this idea of, well, maybe I'll like it down the road. I'll give it a couple of weeks. You can do what you will. I'm just telling you, if you wait for it, you're also delaying your own success. Okay? It's, there's nobody else that can do it for you. All I can do is I can take the next 4 days, okay, and we are putting this synopsis in the newsletter. Now, the nice part is this. Where am I? Well, I know where I am, but that's beside the point. Let's just take a look at this because my calendar is buried. Okay, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, Friday. Hey, isn't that nice? I'll be able to act because we've got today is Sunday, 2, 3, 4. We will be able not only to have the complete synopsis in the newsletter for February 1st. Okay, I'm also taking this whole thing and popping it into a book. Okay, into a booklet, still about the same size as these. Although, I'm tossing around the idea of calling it what I was originally looking at, or just calling it Believe in Your Success and Follow Your Dreams. Okay, I'm thinking that's probably the best way to go and just leave it as part of the group, part of the series. But one of the nice parts about all of this is you're the one with 100% dominant control over whether your life is going to change or whether it's going to stay the same. And it was pointed out, some people just do not like to change. They're much more comfortable in the rut. This is the same reason that police have told me that people end up going back to jail because they spend so long in jail. That's where they're comfortable. Maybe you're in an abusive relationship and it's so normal for you. It's just the way your life is. Now, I've been in a self-abusive relationship, spending money I shouldn't have been spending in my eyes, but addicted to the idea of spending it on food so I didn't have to cook. Well, this struggle over the last year has been phenomenally useful in making that ring. So we've got a lot of work ahead of us. And yes, I am going to be walking through this whole path with you because the tools I'm laying out, I know they're going to work because they work for me. They have literally worked for thousands of other people, okay, with varying degrees of success. Now, one of the biggest things I made these books this size for is they're small, they're compact, simple to read, simple to understand, and short enough if you got to read them again. They're real quick, and much more importantly, they are not energy invasive. They do not take a lot of work. Your success, your success for you, is within your reach. All you got to do is get off the chair and make it happen. Don't take my word for it. Get up and give it a shot. I know there was a time when I was living in a very bad lifestyle. My idea was absolutely, I'll get up and give me a shot. And usually that was, more often than not, it was a shot of rye. But I was pretty open to whatever was alcohol, whatever contained alcohol, as long as it was actual alcohol and not a alcoholic infused, shaving cologne, or that's aftershave. There we go. Although I knew a guy did that too. But once you have decided when and where, the seventh question, now, numerologically speaking, you'll love this. 7 is the number of self-awareness. So we look at this and we go, question 7 is actually how. So you got who, what, where, when, why, and how. Who, what did I miss here? Oh, that's because the first question is literally, do you desire to be successful? If the answer is yes, or more to the point, when, you have a total of 7 questions. Do you desire it? Who is it for? Who is it for? Why do you desire it? What do you consider success? Okay. When do you get started? Where do you get started? And how do you go about it? Well, we're already answering the first part of the how. And the next 4 days, we're going to lay it out in a whole lot more detail. And yes, we are going to put a synopsis in the newsletter. Okay, in February's edition. It is available to you for free. And I know that sounds like such a weird thing. What's the catch? The catch is if you don't go to buymeacoffee.com and ask for a copy directly, or drop me an email, send me a text, send me something that tells me you desire a copy of the email of the newsletter. You ask for that, and it will go to you. Okay. This is where I keep my email addresses. So good luck using a computer to hack it. Okay, I'm thinking you might run into a problem. Okay, now, once you've got that, this is why I say you've got to have a purpose. The purpose. Why, the purpose. What is this change being done for? Okay, what ultimately are you looking for? Christine, how you doing? Glad you could join us. You're sitting there going, I desire to be successful. I'm tired of my life the way it is. What do you intend on doing with your success? Now, here's what I'm intending on doing with mine. And I've said this all along. Once I am at that point where I am making, absolutely. Simon goes, Keith, I want success in astral travel. Could you explain what else I need to do? Well, number one, we take the word and the word want and throw it out of your vocabulary. And that reminds me, we might as well pop that in there as well. What I just wrote down was I have a list of words that are absolutely imperative that you stop using them. Okay, that synopsis, likewise, will be in February's edition. That's what I just marked down for myself. Okay, now I am, again, putting a booklet together to explain it further, but point form, it will be in February's edition. Okay, but in a nutshell there, Simon, what you do, okay, what you do, find a comfortable place to sit while you are wide awake. Okay, focus on your heartbeat, not with your hand. No, don't bother looking for it in your wrist or on your throat. Feel your heartbeat. Once you can feel it, track it all the way out to your fingertips. Okay. And we have, hey, you got aliens. How you doing? Glad you could join us. Glad, things are getting different. Things are getting much better here. But Simon, when you do that, you'll be able to feel your pulse all the way through your whole body. Now, even when I had hair down all the way to my forearms, I could feel the pulse of my energy, of my heartbeat, at the end of my hair. As you do that, you will sink further into a meditative state. Now, here's the neat part. As you're dropping into it, it'll feel like you're drifting out of your body, like you lose track of where your body is. Okay, But that's a good thing. You will run into snags with it, I will tell you, because it's an odd sensation when you first start separating. But keep at it. Practice will make it easier. It won't make it perfect by any means. Okay, but what'll happen is you'll start to separate the first number of times. You'll realize you're separating. You'll go, oh my gosh, what's this? And right back into your body. Stay with it, but do this while you're awake. Okay, because if you do this while you're tired, you will get a good night's sleep, but you'll drift off. Ultimately, it's patience. Simon, you're on the right track, but it will take patience. Just like this whole idea of changing your life. That is one very specific aspect. Okay, and by doing that, now here's an odd question for you. How far have you been able to trace your pulse? Okay, like how far out on the limbs have you been able to feel your pulse? That's the key. That's the first thing you look for as far as the marker goes. Yeah, did I miss somebody in here? Nope, there we go. So all in all, this is the first step. Okay, you've got a purpose, Simon. So, we've heard a couple of people with purposes in mind. In my case, it's real simple. My purpose is to reclaim power over my life so I can show you and lead you by example, you being everybody I run into. I returned to this world and called it my life's purpose to remind people that working together, we can make this a world. We can make this a better world for virtually everybody. And that's it. Yeah, LA goes, when I use astral projection, I start with my prayers and then think of myself flying. Oh, that's no problem, Simon. Those goosebumps you're feeling are the tip of the pulse. You're still feeling the pulse. Okay, it's just like with fish going in the water. The pulse hits the surface and you get goosebumps. So you're still technically finding it. Okay, and hey, you're asking, how does one defend itself from intruders while in astral travel? Now, that is a very big question, and we will get to it. We won't get to it tonight, though. Okay, where are we here? And that is a topic we will have to get in line. And we will simply mark it off as astral protection. It's a very good question there, Heyu. Yeah, it really is. And it is one that we will devote an entire show to, an entire stream to. The nice part about it is, patience, I don't know about you, Simon, but patience for me is a massively challenging problem. Okay, but once you've got a purpose, now we can move on. Now, of course, tomorrow we are going to cover the next necessary step, which is tomorrow we're still going to be dealing with attaining success in your life, but we're going to set it up. Oh, well, we got one other question. Is it easier to connect with one's spirit guides while in astral travel? Honestly, I don't find a personal difference. Some people will find it easier. For me, I just connect cross current anyway. But many people will find it easier to connect with the spirit guides when you are relaxed. Okay, now we've got a purpose in mind. Tomorrow we will deal with a plan, and it's going to be, we're going to personalize it for you. In other words, show you how to turn around and make it happen. Okay, I deal with grassroots here. There's lots of streams out there that cover the real big ticket items. If you got $50,000, we can do this with your money. If you've got all this extra experience, here's how to do psychic combat. Okay, here's how to defend against aliens. I deal with things on a very simple base so that anybody can do it. And everybody has the same odds of doing it. It's all up to you. But we've got a purpose in place. Tomorrow we deal with a plan. Okay. And we make certain that you've got a way to personalize it. So definitely bring your pads or your notes or whatever, or just simply earmark this particular set of streams. And tomorrow we set up the plan. Okay. With that in mind, thank you so much for sharing your time with us today. By the way, tomorrow on Monday, we are dealing with planning your success. On Tuesday, we are dealing with attaining success in your life, patience, and then, persistence. And then on Friday, we will be dealing with attaining success in your life, persistence or patience. Yeah, I did that really well. In any event, people, thank you so very much for sharing your time with us tonight. Really appreciate it. We will be back again tomorrow at 9 p.m. Pacific and hopefully see you all there. By the way, I will be on tomorrow also at 4:30, from 4:30 until about 6:30 p.m. doing a day in the office, which is literally me puttering around here getting things done. So you are more than welcome and encouraged to drop in with us then as well. Until then, guys, thank you so much, and do take care of yourselves and each other, and for pity's sakes, stay positive.